Um, Before we begin today's reading, I just want to take a moment and speak to all of you who have been here, who keep coming back, who leave your comments and share what resonates. I see you. I genuinely read what you write, and it means more than you probably know. To those of you who are new here, welcome. You are not here by accident. Whatever brought you to this video, trust that. And to those who have been here for a while, thank you. Thank you for your energy, your trust, and your continued presence in this space. It truly is felt. Now, let us begin. Something shifted around you, and the people who doubted you, the ones who looked past you, the ones who quietly decided that you were less than what you are, they are starting to feel it. That shift, that realization, and it is not sitting well with them at all. If you are a Virgo, or if this energy has been speaking to you, stay right here, because what is coming through in this reading is something that has been a long time coming. This is not just about external validation. This is about the moment the world catches up to who you have always been. Let us talk about who you are for a moment, because I think sometimes, Virgo, you forget. You have spent so much of your energy being precise, being careful, being the one who shows up and does the work quietly, without applause, without a spotlight. You have always carried a certain standard with you, a standard for yourself, for the quality of what you put into the world, for the integrity you hold, even when no one else is watching. And because you move quietly, because you do not make noise about what you are doing or who you are becoming, there are people in your life or in your extended circle who genuinely underestimated you. They saw the humility and mistook it for weakness. They saw the carefulness and mistook it for insecurity. They saw the silence and mistook it for having nothing to say. And that is where they went wrong. There is an energy that keeps surfacing in this reading, and it is one of revelation, not the kind that is announced loudly, not the kind that comes with fanfare or dramatic moments. This is the quieter, deeper kind of revelation, the kind that slowly, steadily dawns on someone when they can no longer ignore the evidence in front of them. They misjudged you, and now they know it. There is someone, and it could be one person or it could be several, who had a fixed idea of who you were. Maybe they decided early on that you were not serious enough, not capable enough, not interesting enough, not ambitious enough. Maybe they dismissed something you shared with them, a dream, a goal, an opinion, a feeling. Maybe they spoke about you to others in a way that did not honor your truth. Whatever the form it took, there was a narrative they held about you that simply was not accurate. And what is happening now, what these cards are showing me, is that that narrative is crumbling. I want you to think about how far you have actually come, not compared to anyone else, not according to some external measure of success. I am talking about the internal distance you have traveled, the ways you have grown in your understanding of yourself, the things you have released that were weighing you down, the quiet, unglamorous inner work you have done behind closed doors when no one was watching, when there was no reward for doing it. That work is visible now, maybe not in the way you expected, maybe not through a grand announcement or a moment where everyone gathers and acknowledges you. It rarely works that way. But the energy of who you have become, Virgo, it radiates. It speaks before you do. It lingers after you leave a room, and people feel it even when they do not know what they are feeling. The ones who had you wrong are now standing in that energy, and they do not know quite what to do with it. There is a quality of fury in this reading that I want to name directly because it is real, and I think you deserve to understand it for what it actually is. When someone realizes they have misjudged another person, especially a person they may have dismissed or underestimated, there is often a very particular kind of anger that rises in them. It is not really anger at you, it is anger at themselves. It is the discomfort of having to revise a belief they held confidently. It is the ego's resistance to being wrong, because being wrong about you means they have to confront some things. It means they have to look at why they dismissed you. It means they have to examine the assumptions they made, what those assumptions were based on, what they say about their own limitations in perception. And that kind of self-examination is deeply uncomfortable for people who are not practiced in it. So instead of sitting in that discomfort gracefully, what comes up is frustration. What comes up is this restless, agitated energy that can express itself in different ways. Maybe they become suddenly more attentive to you, almost overly so. Maybe they start reaching out when they had gone quiet. Maybe they revisit conversations you had and see them differently now. Maybe they find themselves talking about you even when they do not mean to. Whatever shape it takes, the energy underneath it is the same. They see you now, and it caught them off guard. I want to pause here for a second and ask you something genuinely. Has there been a moment recently, even a small one, where you felt like something shifted in how someone was treating you or in how you were being perceived? Maybe something changed in the energy between you and another person. Maybe you noticed a difference in how someone spoke to you, looked at you, responded to you. Let me know in the comments if you felt that shift. Even if you could not name it at the time, even if it was just a feeling, I want to know if this is landing for you. Now, here is what I want you to hold very carefully as we continue. The revelation that someone has about you does not define your worth. I want to say that again because it is important. The moment someone finally sees your value does not mark the beginning of your value. You have always been what you are. The timing of their recognition is their journey, not yours. Their fury, their recalibration, their sudden awareness of who they are dealing with, none of that changes the fundamental truth of who you have always been. What it does do, however, is create a shift in the dynamic. And that shift is something you are going to have to navigate with real intention. Because, Virgo, you have a tendency, and I say this with deep respect, you have a tendency to either minimize these moments or to give them more power than they need. Either you brush off what happened and return to the same patterns, or you let the validation fill a space that only your own self-knowing should fill. What I am seeing in this reading is an invitation for something different. An invitation to receive this moment, not as proof that you were right, not as permission to finally feel good about yourself, but simply as confirmation of what you have already known in the quieter parts of your being. You knew. You always knew. There is a layer to this reading that goes deeper than the interpersonal. Because what is really happening here is not just about one person or one situation. There is something shifting in your entire energetic field, a recalibration, a realignment, as though the frequency you are operating on has risen and the people and situations around you are having to adjust to a signal they were not previously receiving from you. This is what sustained inner work does. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. But at a certain point, the internal changes become undeniable to the external world. The groundedness you have been cultivating, the boundaries you have been learning to hold, the self-respect you have been slowly, sometimes painfully building, it has reached a threshold where it is no longer invisible. And that changes things, not just with the people who misjudged you, with everything, with opportunities that find you more easily, with the quality of connections that are drawn to you, with the way conversations unfold, the way you are heard, the way your presence lands. You have crossed a threshold, Virgo. And even if you do not fully feel it yet from the inside, the outside world is already responding to it. Let me speak to those of you who went through a period of real isolation. Because what I am sensing in this reading is that for many of you, there was a chapter not long ago where you pulled back, where you became quieter than usual, where you stopped explaining yourself, stopped seeking understanding from people who were not truly capable of giving it, stopped performing a version of yourself that was easier for others to accept. That chapter may have looked from the outside like you were struggling. And maybe on some levels you were. Maybe there was grief in it. Maybe there was loneliness. Maybe there were moments where the silence felt heavier than you expected. But something else was also happening in that quiet. You were becoming more yourself, stripped of the need for approval, stripped of the constant calibration to other people's comfort. You began to access something in yourself that had been muffled, a clarity, a directness, a knowing of what you actually want, what you actually value, what you are actually willing to give your energy to, and what you are not. And the person who emerged from that chapter, that is who they are now, furious. They underestimated. I want to talk about what you do with this energy now. Because there is a temptation, and it is a very human one, to want to be seen doing well, to want the people who doubted you to witness your glow up directly, to make sure they know in some way or another that their assessment was wrong. I understand that impulse completely, and I am going to gently suggest that you do not feed it. Not because you do not deserve to be seen, you absolutely do, but because chasing the validation of people who were wrong about you is still chasing their validation. It keeps you tethered to their perception of you. And you have spent a long time cutting those tethers, Virgo. Do not let this moment pull you back into the orbit of needing them to see you clearly. Let their realization be their experience. Let it unfold in whatever way it unfolds. You do not need to manage it, witness it, or participate in it. Your job is not to educate them about your worth. Your job is to continue living in alignment with it. Because here is the truth. The people who are truly ready to meet you where you are now, they will come to you without the drama of having to revise a wrong opinion. They will encounter you as you are and simply recognize you. No fury needed, no awakening required, just clear, uncomplicated recognition. And that is the quality of connection that awaits you as you continue in this direction. Does this speak to something you have been sitting with? Something about being finally seen after a long period of being overlooked? Let me know in the comments. I am curious whether this reading is landing in the way I feel it is. Your comments genuinely help guide the energy of this space. I want to bring something forward that the energy has been pulling me toward throughout this reading. There is a strength in you, Virgo, that is not always visible because you hold it so quietly. It is not the strength that makes noise. It is not the strength that fights back loudly or performs in moments of challenge. It is the strength that continues, the strength that keeps its standard even when no one is honoring that standard, the strength that chooses integrity when choosing the easier, messier path would have been completely forgivable. That kind of strength is rare, and it is accumulative. Every time you chose to stay in alignment, even when it cost you something, it added to who you are. Every time you held your tongue when you could have unleashed. Every time you continued building quietly while others were busy doubting. Every time you let a relationship or a situation fall away rather than compromise what you knew was true. All of that has been deposited into the person you are now. And that person is something quite different from what anyone who misjudged you was accounting for. There is something else I want to name because I feel it strongly in this reading. Some of you have been carrying a subtle guilt about this moment, as if feeling satisfied by this shift in perception is somehow beneath you, as if the part of you that is quietly pleased to be seen correctly is something to suppress or be ashamed of. As if a truly evolved person would feel nothing about being finally recognized after being dismissed. Let me offer you a different perspective. Feeling something in this moment does not make you petty. It makes you human. You invested in yourself, often at real cost. You held your integrity through moments when releasing it would have been far easier. You continued to move forward with your head held with quiet dignity, even when the energy around you was not honoring you. Feeling something when that is finally acknowledged is not weakness. It is the natural completion of a cycle. You are allowed to feel it, all of it. The relief, the quiet satisfaction, the gentle validation of what you always knew. And then, when you have felt it fully, you release it. Not because it does not matter, but because you are not someone who lives in the rearview mirror. You feel, you integrate, and you keep moving forward. That is the Virgo way. When it is working, when you are truly in your power, and that is where I see you standing right now. As we move toward the close of this reading, I want to bring you back to the ground, back to yourself, because everything I have spoken about, the fury of others, the recalibration of perception, the shifting dynamic, all of it exists in the external world, and the external world will always be in motion. It will shift and adjust and surprise you. People will continue to form opinions about you, some accurate and some not. Situations will unfold in ways you did not predict. What stays constant is you. Or more precisely, what can stay constant is your relationship with yourself, your knowledge of who you are, what you stand for, what you are building, what you are releasing, what you are moving toward. That inner knowing is the anchor that everything else revolves around. And what this reading is ultimately pointing to is not really about them. It is about the fact that you are coming into a deeper ownership of yourself, a more settled, more embodied, more unshakable sense of your own ground. The fury of those who misjudged you is just a symptom of that shift becoming visible in the world. The real event is internal. The real transformation is yours. And it is already in motion. You do not need to fight for your reputation. You do not need to make anyone see you correctly. You do not need to shrink yourself to soothe the discomfort of people who are now confronted with the truth of who you are. You simply need to keep beingness. Keep showing up as the full, grounded, quietly powerful version of yourself that has been emerging through all of that quiet, unglamorous inner work. Keep choosing alignment over approval. Keep choosing authenticity over comfort. Keep allowing the people and situations that resonate with your truth to come forward, and keep allowing the ones that do not to fall naturally away. The universe is not slow, Virgo. It is precise, and everything is moving into its rightful place around you. If this reading spoke to you today, if something in here touched something real in your life, please let me know in the comments. Tell me what resonated. Tell me what you have been carrying. Tell me what it felt like to hear this. This space is for all of us, and your presence here, your willingness to look inward and ask real questions about your own growth, that is what makes this work meaningful. I am grateful for you, and I will see you in the next one.